some noise, unfiltered, uncensored, straight from the heart. These brothers ain't playing, taking it from crazy compressions, untold raw SOS is unmissable. Took 'em all to join, be part of the crew. Raw SOS is waiting for you. Out of the west, the hits to stay tuned in. Turn it up, let's hit play.
Woo! Welcome back to another episode of the Raw SOS Podcast. How you going, Adam?
Yeah, not too bad. Like, fucking, that was a bit of a false start before.
No, we don't need to know that. We're going to cut that out. We fucked up. I've got to press record. Lucky we done it now, not 4 hours into the fucking recording.
We've already been here 2 hours.
But anyway, introducing Brad Spillane. Everyone knows him as Spillo.
Yeah.
Local mountains legend, frontman extraordinaire, from podcasting royalty around this joint. So
that's very kind of you,
radio
Wezzo.
show. He's done it all. And we're going to have a mad yarn with him today, I reckon.
Before we
got
start, we
some-
need to have our fucking shots,
anyway.
man.
Oh, dear.
We'll have a shot again. So today is limoncello. It is Ambria Spirits, authentic, and it's actually Australian made limoncello.
I tell you what, Wes comes up with all these shots. I don't know where he comes from. I nearly bought this whole packet at Aldi the other day. I was like, but I looked at the fucking sugar in it. I was like, oh, fuck no.
Yeah, like gin. It's full
Yeah.
of sugar. Gin's got more sugar
Shot
than...
glass here, mate.
No, that's mine. Yours is in front of your bit.
Oh, there it
Yeah,
is.
you go.
There we go.
We had a rehearsal.
As we said, this is our fifth take.
We might need another bottle of limoncello.
Hey, thanks for the invite, lads.
No,
Cheers, all the
thanks for
best.
coming,
Yeah,
man.
cheers,
Thanks for
guys. All the
coming.
best.
That was a better intro
You
anyway.
left me hanging, don't worry about it.
Sorry, mate.
All right, now we should be fired up. Whoa.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
Fuck, that was pretty good.
Hey, can I just open up with saying, guys, I've watched a couple of your podcasts, walked through the door today and really blown away by your setup, the professionalism. But more than anything, like I've got a brother and wish I had a relationship with my brother such as you two guys have, and it's just awesome.
Oh, no, we fucking hate each other.
Yeah, no, I saw what you did during the building, but mate, yeah, kudos to you guys and thanks, man. It's,
thanks.
I've really been looking forward to this. So yeah,
It's been good. It's been a mission, and I think it's great for us is bringing our family together and stuff like that, as well. Like Wes sort of travelled, he's gone to different places and lived in, and we were, especially in when we were in lockdown and that kind of stuff, we were like one side over here.
I was living in Canberra at the time. And
So where did you come up with the idea?
Where's-
Was it?
I just started listening to a lot of podcasts and I thought, fuck, I can do this. This is easy. But then I started doing it and going, fuck, it's not that easy, eh?
The whole production side of things is what,
Yeah.
I'm fortunate I've got someone that does that. I had my partner Claire do it, and now I've got Reggie from the station that does it. So
Just like a lead singer on your podcast, mate. Just rocking,
I don't even
plug your
roll
mic.
up the mic leads, mate. I'm marketing at the moment. That's why I'm talking to these girls.
Hopefully one day, we will have some people doing that for us. So shout out if anyone wants to come and join the Raw SOS podcast and do all the production stuff for us and the marketing and the editing. That'll be fucking great.
The editing would be good.
And we'll leave a bit of limoncello.
Make sure you got a drink. We've got a drink fridge and fucking or beer on tap.
Yeah, and then
mate.
we'll turn this limoncello bottle into a bong. All right?
Yeah. It reminds me actually when you said that, and we had a bit of a laugh beforehand, and I mentioned the Alec Power Drill when I was 16, and I hope the statute of limitations as well had truly expired for what I'm about to say, because I'm going to kick off the show, first of all, knowing that I do my own podcast. I'm going to incriminate myself. Narrabeen High, Pittwater High and Marna Maria High all ran out of conical flasks.
Yeah, right.
This is in 1988, and everyone from those three schools would bring me the conical flasks, and I would make bongs out of it because I had this drill that could go through glass, right?
Yeah.
And it was fantastic, and it made the Manly Daily, so I felt even more special.
I think you could just use the bunts. When I went to Cambridge Park High School, I've said it a few times, the worst fucking school in Sydney's West. It was actually voted as the worst.
What, beat Mount Druitt?
Yeah,
Oh, come on, man.
Fucking did,
Bottom,
man.
the
We
bullshit's
were
coming out.
we learnt Lave. We're at the Lave. So
Don't fact check
when
this
we're-
podcast.
Yeah. We'll do it in Metalworks. There's Lave. Everyone's just making cone pieces, right, and pipes and shit. And then in science, right, we'd fucking
That's where it started.
yeah. And then in science, we'd melt the fucking. So we'd get the glass test tubes and we'd melt a hole in them, and then just get.
And then you connect it and you go yourself a barbecue.
Little rubber
Glass
yeah,
barbecue.
Before you know it, next minute.
That minute at fucking Kingswood Station, man. Hey, bro, you got a durry?
All right, so we're going to get into it with Spillo. He's got his own podcast, so it's a radio show, Men's Mental Health Podcast, but we might sort of come into that and how you got to doing that. But we'll get into, like, where'd you grow up? You said Northern Beaches.
So my family emigrated to Australia when I was 5 years of age, and we settled in Narrabeen.
Where'd they come from?
New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah.
So my father's from the middle of the North Island. My mum's from the south of the North Island. My father's just flying back there now, actually. His sister's not well. But so we emigrated over here in 79, kick-started school in 1980. I came down with a virus that ended up paralysing me, actually. It was only about 3 weeks into school. So I spent the entire first year or so of my schooling in a wheelchair, which wasn't a good way to sort of start things. But Narrabeen at the time, it's not like it's known now. Like people think Narrabeen and they think, you're living in like Turnbull, Potts Point with Lucy, North Potts Point. No. It was quite a, I wouldn't say rough area. It was the homes were very old and just alone in my street we had, I think, 2 or 3 pedophiles, which we later found out as the years had gone on. So it was a pretty sort of a lower demographic area for the Northern Beaches. And I started surfing at a young age. I wasn't a very good swimmer, but I learned the hard way going out. And I'd tell my mum I'd be going hanging with my mate and, I'd be surfing from the age of 10, before school, after school. So surfing was a big part of my life back then until I found music. Yeah. Got a job at McDonald's and ran into, the guy we're cleaning the, doing a run of 12-6, they called it, which is 12 Big Macs and 6 quarter pounders. And a guy called Dave Maitland was next to me and I was singing away one day. He says, "Ma, you've got to come and join my band, our band." And when I turned up to this band practice, the drummer had been in my soccer team when I was 5. And as I said, I couldn't walk. So I used to just go around and mark the grounds. And so it was funny to sort of catch up and reconnect with Ian Watson. He's a wonderful musician now. His name's Kumba, Coombo, if you want to look him up. But, and we went in a band and we were probably known as the greatest band that never was.
Yeah. Hey, what was the band called?
We were called the Stoned Crows.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The Stoned Crows, because we had a bit of influence from the Rolling Stones and loved the Black Crows, right? Yeah. So there was also a restaurant in Crow's Nest called the Stoned Crow. But and then from there, man, I moved to Mona Vale in my late teens and parents separated and they went their own way and I moved up to Port Macquarie at the age of 19. I was living by myself, so I moved out of home and I was sharing or flatting, as they call it. Probably smoking a little bit too much pot then. I can honestly say I really haven't smoked a lot of pot since then. It's, fallen into the trap of other things over the years, but my old man came up and picked me up and said, "Listen, I'm going to give you a career in real estate." And that's what I proceeded to do on and off in between gardening businesses. I had a company called Brad Spillane Sides and I was a property manager before that, which is a terrible job. And I was not very good at it. And then went overseas with my girlfriend who later became my wife and we were together for the better part of 19 years. And then I went back into sales and did pretty well. As a young fellow, I was probably only 25, I think, when I first sold my first, or 24. And then I retired from real estate when I was 30, 31, awesome. And got out of real estate, went back into gardening and then had a pretty, it was a horrible divorce. No divorces are good.
Oh, yeah.
Even the amicable ones. And at the time I had a bit of a substance issue and alcohol and I was not a nice guy. I was dealing with a lot of things that most guys deal with and that was one emotion, which was anger. It was a great defense mechanism. It was a great defense. It was a great form of attack. And so I did a horrible thing and I threw all of my wife's belongings in a pool. And mate, I had a big ass pool. I'll tell you, I put that much in there. The pool overflowed. So it sort of went from there and I spiraled into a big hole. And that's when I probably had to confront face to face my, depths of depression. So overthink, which is bipolar 2. It's not bipolar 1's like this, up and down, up and down. Up. Bipolar 2 is more manic and then the lows are a lot lower. And I'd been told this over the years, but I wasn't prepared to sort of accept that. And then I made a pretty serious attempt on my life back in 2013 by way of carbon monoxide poisoning. And thankfully my brother-in-law, who was my guitarist, lived in the house next door, pulled me out. And then 3 months later was the big attempt, which, if you're okay with me talking about this.
Yeah, we talk about that as well.
Yeah, because sometimes we're restricted on method and whatnot. So I try to, by way of hanging, and thankfully I don't remember too much. It didn't work, but I unfortunately fell simultaneously on my front 4 teeth and my chin. I split my face in half all the way up like an axe wound, and 27 facial fractures, and now 26 or 27 pieces of titanium over several surgeries. And I moved to the mountains. I met a beautiful girl who just taught me so much over a course of a 10-year relationship. We recently separated. It's all amicable. She's just an amazing person, but I managed to find out there's more things behind anger and using other emotions like, accountability, a bit of humble pie, and knowing that the only person that can change my life is me. So I
100% be accountable for yourself. No one else is going to pull you out of that shit. Yeah. You got to bring yourself out of it, and you got to fucking get on and keep moving forward.
Right on, man.
You're right on. I think that's fucking crazy what you went through and all that kind of stuff, and like. But like having music, man, like I swear, like music's a universal healer. Not just listening to it, but fucking playing it, man. Yeah. And I've seen you play because we play in Jim's punk rock together, right? You're fucking legend, man. Fucking oath, bro. And
station sponsor.
We've only done one fucking show, right? If that's all we ever do, I was fucking good, right?
We could take over the greatest band that never was. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then look, I don't want to, I've really been looking forward to doing this because my show's a little bit serious. We have a laugh, of course, on the Men's Mental Health Show, but and we talk about a lot of things. So I don't want to sort of get straight into too much of the darkness, but from a lot of that darkness, I guess I don't shy away from that now, and I help out a number of guys that have gone through similar roles.
It's fucking awesome, man. You're doing such a mad job.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Then I've been listening to a few of the episodes. I only met you a month ago, at the gig, and ever since then I've been listening to on and off with your podcast and stuff. And
how much do I owe you?
It's all right, mate. We owe you. You can have a limoncello. But it's good, mate. How you get people come from all over the bloody country to come and sit down and have a chat with you, man. It's fucking unreal.
It's not something we sort of set out to achieve. We just got to the end of or the beginning of December. We got told we were the #1 men's podcast. I think 1,600 shows, and what a wonderful piece of recognition. But it's certainly not the reason. We never applied for it. Big shout out to FeedSpot for rating our show. But yeah, I've had a number of organisations like to throw a bit of money at me, but then they restrict you from what you can and can't say. And I think the most important thing about mental health, boys, is the fact that we can talk, sit in the discomfort of shit, and just hold that space. And that's just a natural instinct as men, is what we should have for each other.
100%. Yeah, like I've gone through my own demons and stuff so many times over the years and that, and like I've called counsellors. I don't care about like the stigma about like back in the day, like you have to grow up and be a man. Like that's what it used to be. Like back in the day.
Well, you're measured on your success of your car or your home.
He drives a snatchback. So that last one,
snatchback.
So but like who cares? Like just get out and talk. And we have talked. Wes and I have talked about this a lot in our podcast over the 20. We're on 21 here, but we're actually fucking nearly 30 podcasts in. But we've actually
fucking 40 years into
I know. Besides that, but like we have brought it up in our podcast about mental health, and fucking especially when all the days come up, like there was those certain days, which is
men's mental health
those
day,
kind of things weren't
okay,
happening. They weren't happening when we were growing up. It was just. At least there's things in place now, and don't be like don't be fucking afraid to call a counsellor, because I'll do it all the time. Yeah, especially after 20 beers.
I actually reached out.
I'm not your fucking counsellor, Adam. Stop bringing me up for 20 beers.
So how was that call, Wezzo?
I had 28.
It's a great point, man. People often ask me, what's been the catalyst of the change, or how have you gone about it? I'd like to think that life's only about two things. I think it's about time, and I think it's about growth.
Yeah.
And if you think about those two things, it's what little time we have in this space or realm we're living in. If you're growing each day, or some days it's two steps backwards, and for it doesn't really matter. But I like to keep things pretty simple and try and eradicate things like greed or any hatred and delusion, and just replace that with love and kindness and generosity. And I only make $22,000 a year nowadays. I think my last year of real estate, I paid nearly $250,000 in tax. But I'd probably give even half of that away. So I've never been so rich, but I've never been richer within, myself as a man. I've got a long way to go. I think, there's not many people that walk this earth that have made the errors and the flaws and the mistakes I have, but at least I can sort of hopefully try and help other blokes.
Try and do that guiding.
Not to choose that path, But
do as I say, not as I do.
That's But
anyway, I reckon you got some pretty good stories from back in the band days. So I'd like to dive into them, because we do. We're both musos here. We're all we love the old music stories. So is there anything that comes to your mind about?
Oh, mate, there's so many. I mentioned, so I grew up Narrabeen. I'll share this one. It's and we were playing with another band. They were all Narrabeen High guys. So two of the guys from my band were from Narrabeen High, three of them, and then another guy from Pittwater. And I went to the gay school, apparently, Marta Maria, which was semi-Catholic.
Wes went to St. Dom's. That was the gay school.
St. Dom's?
They used to call it Puster's Paradise.
St. Dom's? You sure it's not Chinese?
No, St. Dom's.
Dom's. Oh, Dominic. Sorry. I was like, hang on a second.
Hey, where's St. Dom's?
Yeah, that was fucking Vietnamese school for fucking hard knocks. St. Dom's.
And so, we all we were doing a bit of a laugh before about Russell Crowe. So there was a movie that came out, Romper Stomper, which I think partial or most of the movie was made on or around the Narrabeen skinheads. We used to have a thing at Warriewood Headland called the 60-footer. When there wasn't much surf, we'd jump off the 60-footer. Well, one of the Narrabeen skinheads, Lincoln, I won't say his surname, we went off the 60-footer. I was on the handlebars of his bike. We found this bike on a council cleanup. So we go down off this edge and you'd go over the cliff and it's 60 feet down.
Fuck!
And then you swim through a blowhole that takes you out, pushes you up onto land. and like, what a wonderful place to grow up. Hey? You wonder how you sort of got through life. But it was, I think it was like our second gig. And I'll make sure I send this off to the guys of the band once the podcast is up. But we were doing the support act. I think we were second out of three bands, and there wasn't many people inside. And the Narrabeen boys or the Narrabeen skinheads are outside. And I've decided at all of maybe 58, 60 kilos at the time, as a really skinny 16-year-old, to call them a bunch of faggots and fucking low lives. You couldn't fucking, whatever. Some of the things I said, just like I said then, are very abhorrent.
Yeah.
And they came running in. And when they came running in, I just launched myself off the stage. They wanted to hear, and I thought, this is going to be on. And then they picked me up and they threw me back on the stage, and I was... Suddenly, that's the way you get respected.
Punching on.
And so there was, mate, we had many things that had happened. And,
that's active.
They were wonderful years, man. Like, when you played in your first band ads, you've been, how long have you been doing music for?
Mate, since I was I picked up guitar when I was 6, but I didn't start actually playing in bands till I was about 17, that kind of things. We'll started jamming with people, and then it just went on and on from there. Like, I was just...
our first band was called Wart.
Yeah, I've got my brother.
Pimple.
I think Wes was like 10 or something.
I started playing the drums there.
Yeah. We're working it out, and and then we just didn't realise what sort of fucking damage we're going to get ourselves into.
You just left the army.
Yeah, I was in the army.
Really? What?
Army,
cadet or?
I was cadets and reserves. I was in the reserves.
Oh,
as well.
kudos, man.
Yeah, I was in 5th Combat Engineer Regiment.
How long did you do that for?
A couple of years in the reserves.
So 2 years in the reserves?
Yeah,
wow.
He tried to do full time, but
I was so gun-ho when I was fucking... Because I was in...
You just wanted to shoot something.
Yeah.
That's what he said. That's why he didn't get in.
Sorry, where were you, man?
The old saying was killer for God, save the rest for Satan.
Fill in the blanks.
Yeah, fill in the blanks. But like that was like watching Full Metal Jacket too much.
Yeah. So you both got into a band together. Yeah. I didn't know that about you, Wes.
Yeah, no. Well, I was a bit later on in it, but I did have a drum kit and didn't really know what I was doing.
So I used to skateboard, right? So like in between the cadets and all the crap that I had at school, because I had a shit fucking hated school. And I just hated the people, a lot of the people in the school I went to. And so my reprieve was skateboarding and being the one out the back away from all the other the footy heads. Fucking, I was smoking bongs on the hill at year 8 going into school, like that kind of thing. And then we went and I found skateboarding, and then I tried to find surfing, but because I was living in the West, I couldn't get to the beach all the time. So I tried and I nearly fucking drowned a few times.
That white boy from the West can't swim.
It was a concrete
You should
surfer.
take a surfboard out with you next time instead of a skateboard when you surf. But I bet you they said, hey, man, nice wheels.
Yeah, I did.
Sorry, memory.
But yeah, like it was like, I tried to give it a go, but I was a kook, they called it.
Yeah, that was the term. But you know, well, like where I was from, you had a choice between skating and surfing, and I guess at the age of 10, 11 and 12, it was, you know, you were enemies. You were opposite side of the fence, and then a guy came along called Tony Hawk, and we all realised how insane this guy was, that, you know, all of a sudden the surfers accepted skateboarders into their community or fraternity, I should call it.
So a lot of the skateboarding started because there was no surf, so they put
And Santa Monica Boulevard.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
along
they
the
put woods and wall. We're just going to surf. And I love when I skate, and I still skate. I haven't done it for a while, like since I moved up because where I was living, I was doing bomb hills.
Skateboards right there.
Go for a run. I was doing bomb hills just last year, like at my
you were
joint.
using the big deck.
No, that one there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, righto.
With the backpack full of beer and fucking bottles of wine.
It's basically transport. You're not going for a skate. You just get away from the pub.
And I'll tell you what, I used to do it when I was younger. I was like, fuck, I'm going skateboarding at night. It was more fun because you couldn't really see shit. And I used to love doing the bowl. We had this bowl in a snake pit.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I learned how to fucking nail that during the day. And I went, fuck, it's better. When I got a bit older as a teenager, I'm like, fucking, we were actually like, we're called grenades. So we're shaking a fucking, I don't know how we got beer, but we used to shake it and put a pinhole in it and just go.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we called it grenades. So I had a few of those at night and skate the fucking bowl, man. It was mad.
Because instead of buying a 12-pack, you only needed 3 when you did it that way. Wasn't that right?
Yeah.
Shotgun. Well, I used to call them a shotgun.
Yes, well, that's what I was going to say. That's what you call it. You bite the bottom, pull the top, and then it goes. Yeah.
Shotgun it. Yeah.
Well, we used to do Kangaroo Rock, and we'd meet at Warriewood McDonald's, and you know, some mates would come down from Narrabeen, some from North Narrabeen, some from Warriewood, some from Mona Vale. But if you were outside that area, we didn't have mates just within those 4 suburbs. Yeah. But we, you know, like you'd come along and you'd get you'd all bring in like a small half a litre can or bottle of drink, which you've gone into your parents' cupboard and you've mixed the gin, the VAT 69, the wild turkey, the tequila, and then you put it in this 2 litre Orchie bottle, right? And then there's a bus coming down the hill, and there's 4 of you, right? And so you've got to scull it, right? And you know, we're 14 and we're off to see the Cockroaches and the Gurus or the Machinations. I think this was the Machinations night,
Cockroaches fucking now Wiggles.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And yeah, man. And by the time, but you know, this is a play. It was really famous because the whole balcony collapsed, the concrete balcony, and I think half a dozen people died.
What year was that?
That was in 1990 flat, I think it was.
Yeah, I do remember something about that.
Kangaroo Rock in Kangaroo Street, Manly, very famous sort of venue, and you know, it was.
You were there the night it happened.
Yeah. So, well, I was actually walking up the hill.
People died on it, eh?
I think there was half a dozen or so. But you're talking an enormous, probably 35, 40 metre long concrete slab that's suspended off the side of the building and then, you know, collapsing. So, you know,
could I just say one story, like quickly, just interrupt you there?
Sure,
there was at the old Royal Hotel at Springwood.
Yeah.
We used to play lots of fucking gigs there, man. Like, and
it was great.
And it was just an old pub. But what happened? All the people just like roll in there because it was like really tight, small. It's like there's probably the actual plates would be like this garage, right? But a little bit wider. And everyone would just jump, and the whole fucking floor would be moving. It's a wooden floor Like, going up and
It's like a rubber band.
Yeah.
Like an earthquake. You know?
Yeah,
The, the front of house speakers are doing
it was sort of a joke. Like, I was thinking, fuck, man, that whole floor's going to go and people are going to fucking fall down to the cellar because it was the old school pubs, you know, they roll the kegs down in the cellar and all that kind of stuff. Like,
So,
Or down the driveway.
See, they didn't have to bring in, did they? The what do they call the something police? The do-good police or whatever they're called. Because and if you look back at it, right? So I'm 50. I turned 50 in December. You 46, right? And like
40 in a couple of
40
weeks.
in a couple of weeks. So with all the things that are legislated around safety and everything else, like it makes you, when you look back in the 80s,
How the fuck did we survive?
How did we survive? Right? We did okay, and so did the generation before that.
Yeah.
Although there's a lot of things that we've sort of got from that, like we're not beating kids anymore. Or, although sometimes Munster, my little Maltese cross Shih Tzu, a.k.a. the shit tease, sometimes he just finds his way to the end of my foot.
Well, no, there's no jug cords.
You're just wearing him as a slipper.
Not giving him the slipper.
I was the last of the jug cord. I used to get a jug cord, and the reason why, because the cords are attached to the jug now. So if you're gonna find
you got a jug now.
Yeah. Hit you with a bit of Wi-Fi these days. But the school I started in was the last school in the country to get rid of the cane.
Okay, so
1996.
corporal punishment.
1996. I started 97.
Was it 96 that it got done? Really?
Yeah.
So we were still going.
St. Dom's in Penrith
My
was the
goodness.
last one. And I started 97, thank fuck. I'd have no hands left.
Wow. Well, mate.
I got a few canes.
Yeah. We had this teacher, and her name was Dot Tauti, and so the first 2 years at Marta Maria were nuns, right? And Dot, or Miss Tauti, she was all of 4'6", honestly. But she had the loudest, strongest voice you could ever hear. And she would go around, remember the 40-centimetre rulers? Everyone had wooden 30-centimetre.
Yeah.
She would go around with a 47-metre ruler, right? And she's the height of every kid sitting down, right? So you don't know where she is.
Yeah.
And if you end up talking to someone, she turns the ruler sideways. Straight on your knuckles,
Like a guillotine.
So you want to hear a great story? I'll try and be as quick as I can with this. So, Guy Fawkes Night is obviously Firecracker Night. It's the 5th of November from memory. If the listeners want to correct that or fact check it, I'm pretty sure it's the 5th. So when firecrackers were out, I went into Chinatown. A mate of mine told me to do this. You go through the Golden Century Chinese restaurant, through the kitchen and out the back, and you give a guy $40 and he gives you a kilo of gunpowder. Right? If you do that now in Chinatown, it's a kilo or something else. But
it's not $40
and
either.
it's not $40. And so what I did was, because I got Miss Dot Towty, and if you're listening, Miss Towty, I love you. You're one of my favourite teachers. And anyway, so
I trust her. She's not listening to the Raw SOS.
So I used to get these two Artline pens. I bought a whole box of them, the little fat ones, okay, and you made what was called copper bombs out of them. It was very, very easy to make.
Yes.
You can make a wick just out of like if you get a piece of toilet paper, these like 3 or 4 pliers, you just use one plier, you put gunpowder in, you make a little bit of a hole, you can tape it up, and then and away you go. But I was the sole and purely the only reason why nobody else in Australia today is allowed to use fireworks. It's important to note I'm not a serial killer either because they have an affliction with that type of stuff. But so what I did was one particular day, and it really hurt what she did. So I on the window ledge outside, I got a cigarette, and at the bottom of the cigarette, I put the wick in for this double Artline copper bomb bunger, right? And I timed it, because I tried it 3 or 4 times with cigarettes the night before, how long it would take, and it was exactly 4 minutes and 12 seconds around there, right? That the cigarette would just burn and burn and burn and burn and burn and get down the bottom. But when this thing went off, right, the first one went off and the second one was even louder, right? Everyone hit the deck, and Miss Tauty is just laid on the floor, and I'm just looking at her going, you won't hit me over your knuckles again, or my knuckles. And it was just, but they called the fucking fire brigade.
Oh, no way.
Everyone, and they're like separating the students and the cops. It was just horrible. But, hence the fact that we don't have firecracker night.
One of my mates fucking blew his fingers off making a cocker bomb. Oh, fuck.
Well, it was so easy to do.
Yeah, no, a copper bomb. He just he put it. He's just been a fuckwit, being silly, young, and he's fucking put it in the letterbox, and somehow, boom, blew his finger.
I used to take 97. Adam used to get some firecrackers for me to sell at school. So it'd be any day I could have fucking 150, 200 firecrackers in my school bag, right? And fucking walk to school like a fucking, I don't know, terrorist fucking 9/11.
I don't even remember that.
No, and I'd sell them all.
Like Pablo Escobar of fireworks. You want to play games?
Didn't have any fucking detonators. But they're all those fucking ones where they're like tied together with a string with the
Oh,
rings.
yeah,
yeah,
the buggers, the
Yeah,
buggers.
so I'd just like pull them all apart.
They're called double happies.
Yeah, I'd pull them all apart and then like
They go,
yeah, but I'd sell like $10.
oh, so
then
you,
10.
you wouldn't sell them as a package?
Nah, I'd pull them all apart.
You
sell them.
entrepreneur, you.
But anyway, it backfired literally on me because we were at the backyard and my mate I said to him, fucking light this and I'll throw it in the air. As I lit it, went bang!
And right next to your ear.
Went, I've still got fucking ringing in my ears.
I'll tell you a funny fucking story. We were my mate, we're like 18 and
Don't use names.
oh yeah, well, it doesn't matter. It's an abbreviated name. Anyway,
Just on that, why is abbreviation such a long word?
it's a abbreviate.
Why is
Just
ABF.
Yeah,
it's ABF.
Abbott.
Yeah, let's make new words.
Why is S in the word lisp? Like that's a fucking arsehole who done that.
I'll tell you, we're on our way to go to Sexpo, a bunch of our mates, right?
Sexpo.
Sexpo. Yeah, we're going to Sexpo.
You got a Sexpo with Kenny Calendar.
So this is in Darling Harbour, of course. Or was it the one at Rose Hill?
It was
Kingswood Station.
No, fuck. No, the Kingswood, the town. No, talking about fireworks and that, and so we were on our way. We're walking to Sexpo, right? And with me mates because we were just fucking running amok. And one of me mates loved these fucking fireworks, but he had one of those fireworks that would like go and it shoot like pew, pew, like one of the fucking.
Oh, yeah. They're the long stick ones.
Yeah.
Roman candle.
Roman candle, yeah. So we're walking through the graveyard.
What?
Seriously? Trying to wake up the dead.
Fucking walking through the
How punk is that?
and he's fucking aiming it at me, right? And we're fucking at me other mates and that. We're all fucking diving on the graveyard.
Oh.
Just digging fucking holes.
Next thing you know, fucking...
You would have felt a bit stiff that evening, though. It's fair to say.
A cop car pulls up. It's in a fucking detectives, right? They fucking pulled up and said... They pulled us up and said, oh, what are you boys doing? And we're like...
Just visit Pop.
And they go, I'm sorry, mate, just let a firework off and didn't mean to. He goes,
I see you banged. The light had just found its way to the wick.
and then
He hit the detonator button on his
they-
backpack.
they said, if you guys are on watch right now, it said, if you do that again, we'll get you fucking charged with sacrilege.
Well, it's better than your previous charges of being lewd in a public place. That's
So
a good one.
that was the fucking start of going to Sexpo.
Sexpo, and you went to the graveyard.
On the way, because we had to cut through to go to the train station. There was no fences around there. It was cut through there. It was...
So
it was actually where we
blew
went-
off way too early.
We're like, where we're walking, there was no graveyard. There was no graveyards there then, but there's so many people have died since then.
People have been dying to get into them for years.
It's now the dead centre of town.
So have you been to Sexpo?
No, I've been to
few
sex parties. No, I've not actually done a brothel yet. Hey, listen, just on that, I won't mention his name, but so like I had my issues with substance. It was mainly cocaine, and thankfully I haven't touched that for a number of years. But I had a mate of mine. He was a mortgage broker for me, and when I was in real estate, and he never touched. He loved to have a drink, but he'd never touch any substances, of course. And but he had a sex addiction, right? And we used to call him the Phantom because
The Phantom.
every time we would go out, I guarantee you, it wouldn't matter if it was 3 in the arvo, 6 in the arvo, 8 in the evening, whatever. At 11 o'clock, he'd just all of a sudden disappear. Right? And and Steve, Simon, and Glenn and myself, no one had any idea where he was. Oh, I did. I knew exactly where he was. So this is like 5 consecutive weekends in a row. We've gone from Manly, where we're down at the Wharf Bar. And I said, come on, guys, let's get in the car. We'll go up the hill. So we go up there, and right next door to this brothel is a kebab joint, right? So there's 4 of us, and so we order 5 kebabs. And we sit on the bus stop right outside the door. And then, sure enough, 20 minutes later, he comes down, he goes outside, and we go, chicken or beef? Right? And I swear to God, I was going to get punched in the head. He was so angry at me that he did this. And I said, dude, we're not here to judge you, man. We're your mates. We're taking the piss, but you can't do the Phantom every time. You don't even say goodbye, I know we like to play up and we probably get a bit rowdy and we've had a few, drinks and whatever else. But, dude, you've got to stop this Phantom business, man. Because now we know where you are.
Disappear.
I've had so many mates over the years do the Phantom. What happened? They don't even tell you. Like,
I guarantee you, they've got sex addictions.
they just vanish. Oh, that was good.
It could be worse things to be addicted to. Though.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I'm
Wanking.
But mate, no, it's not a bad addiction. What do you think I've been doing the last 10 years? And that's in a relationship, Yeah. I recently started. It's kind of dating with catching up and whatnot. It's and it's been really exciting. Sort of feeling some things that you haven't done before. I feel like I'm 16 again.
Yeah.
It's just it's good to sort of
16 and on the cones, man. With
not on the cones yet, but
Skateboard down the hill. Ring up on the home phone. Can I speak to her?
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Whatever. Can I have a chat to her? I'm about to have cones with me boys. Can I take your daughter out?
Yeah. Oh dear. Oh, that's a classic.
Adam's lost it.
Because it is so funny, I remember having a Christmas a couple of years ago, and my partner at the time, she brought her mum to Christmas. It was a sort of a big thing, and my old man and I decided it'd be a good idea to take some CBD oil.
Oh, no way.
But if anyone's taken CBD oil, because I live with chronic pain, right? So it's all medicinal. And anyway, we completely forgot that we had taken it. and then my partner's mum's turned up, and I'll tell you something, right? So I got this from my uncle, actually. And Mum came around one day, and it's about 11 o'clock in the morning. I'd not long been awake, and she comes in. She goes, "How are you, Bradley? Everything going okay?" I said, "Oh, look, we're a little disturbed this morning by your daughter, but I guess it was getting a bit late in the morning. We had to wake up at some stage, but generally she starts her day very quietly. She'll do the bathroom, she'll do the dishes. She'll go and fill the stuffed toys that Munster's pulled apart out on the deck, and then she'll hang out a load of washing, and then she'll come back in and she'll dust. But when it gets noisy is when she turns the vacuum cleaner on. So at this stage, Munster and I have slowly made our way to the couch. Whilst we're sitting on the couch, we're looking at the TV. She can't hear anything because the fucking vacuum cleaner's going. And after 4.5 hours of her doing all of this work, she has the temerity to sit on the couch next to me and say, "What's on TV?" And I said, "Dust."
Clean it.
And the mother says to me, "Oh, you're so naughty. If only you knew." If only you knew.
That's fucking gold.
But like you got to be careful because you can't sort of get away with that stuff today, right? And my beautiful partner at the time, she was just such a lovely, gorgeous, innocent soul, She was actually in a monastery before I met her, and geez, I corrupted her. The poor thing. It was inevitable. accountable from day one. But you know,
Is she allowed back in the monastery now? No.
I don't know if this podcast is going to reach that far of the globe, but I don't think so. But you know what I mean, man?
Yeah, we got heaps of monks listening.
Oh no, we did have some. What was the latest one? Kenya.
Oh yeah, we got a listener. Shout out to Kenya. Stop trying to fucking We looked at on the stats of who's listening to this podcast. Someone in Kenya.
I bet you he or she was running at the time.
Yeah, I said that to Adam. I said they run over to Russia. We got one listener. We got one listener in Russia and one in Kenya. I reckon it's the same dude.
Oh
yeah, I don't even know where fucking Kenya is.
I was like, are you talking about Kenya here and not Romania? Or, you know.
He's just running.
Yeah.
Probably a couple of bodies of water he has to get across.
This is good fun, guys. I've got to say, you know, like, I've got a show coming up on not this Tuesday, the following Tuesday, and I get a number of emails each week, which most people that know me know I'm pretty slack at getting back to people, but I make it a thing to get back every sort of Sunday or Monday. I'll return emails, and I have this generic email that I send to people because I get approached from people all around the world, predominantly, mainly the States, that say, hey, I've got a really good guest for you. So they're called podcast managers or something, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I just immediately, after, 12, 13, 14, up to 20 a week of these things, I just send this generic email. Look, it's a local radio station primarily, and that's why we created the Men's Mental Health Show. We've got a pretty high representation of suicide in our area per capita. We only do face-to-face interviews. But I've got your name and your details, and I'll keep it in, for future down the track. And these people were wanting to raise awareness around male prostate cancer and enlargement and erectile dysfunction, okay? So I sent the generic email out, and 2 hours later, an email comes back and says, oh, that's great. I've got a professor coming down from North Queensland. I've got someone coming down from the Tweed and someone coming out for Orange. So is the 11th of February okay? And I'm like, fuck, I've got 2 weeks to get it up.
Are they going to help you?
No, I was just so shocked. I was like, but I've got to be like a good boy, and to come on in, man, it's just such a relaxed sort of, it's a completely different vibe.
I'll tell you what. Yeah,
you can swear. You can say fuck on this program.
Yeah. We
all that word was so good. If your seppos are listening, you bunch of cunts.
Well, check out like who's following us, right? So we've got United States, we've got Russia.
Oh, you do?
We've got Russia, yeah. We've got fucking look at this. We've got Russia.
There's two in Russia.
There's heaps.
So
like,
for the listeners,
we just go. We'll read it. We'll go down. So we've got for the listeners, we got Australia 88.5.
Without my glasses, we'll call it 80. And then, Germany's next.
Germany. Yeah, we're going off.
You're not listening about the Germans because I like to do impersonations. No, you can't do this German accent without sounding gay.
That and the French.
Yeah, and there's Russia. We got United States, Russia.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah, Kenya.
And Kenya.
Canada. I was like,
Canada.
Canada. Yeah, they're Canadian.
I had a mate of mine married a Canadian woman. I called her a Canadian.
Canadian.
But Canada's soon to be America because Donald Trump's buying them.
Yeah. We got 6 listeners in the Gulf of America.
But whenever Donald Trump buys something, he never pays them, does he? Get that up, your orange. Get that up, your orange headlight.
Yeah. So we are reaching the well. We're yet to reach like Africa. There's one little, what's that? That's Kenya.
Yes, Kenya.
Yeah, Kenya. Okay. So you can run from Kenya to Russia. Look, it's only up the road. It's like the Kenyan-Russia highway.
Stats are amazing.
Just when you said that, I had the chief inspector come on the show of the local Katoomba police come on the Men's Mental Health Show this week. And I think he said to me at one stage, he goes, "Hey, Spillo, what have you done? I've known you. You've been doing this now for 5 or 6 years. What do you put it down to?" I said, "Gaz, it's pretty fucking easy, mate. I just put people in front of me that are a lot smarter than I am." and no offense to your brother, Ads, but I actually feel smarter.
Fuck you. Just because he's got a piece of paper that says he is.
It's not often that I am the smarter one or even close to it, you know.
Yeah. It's not the intellectual podcast here, mate.
We could go down that road, but let's not.
No. But anyway,
No,
so well, we're on your podcast and your radio show, so give us a bit of a backstory on how.
Hold on a second.
we
Let's
gotta
do
do
some funny shit right here.
Yeah.
All right, I'm giving him the sticker. What's that say?
Oh, okay, this will be interesting for the if the viewers or this. It says need head. That's what she said. It doesn't say that's what she said, but that's what I said. That she said. That she wanted. Anyway, you'll understand.
And this sticker says what?
Slow down. We get paid by the hour. we get paid. Okay.
We don't get paid at all.
I had a guy work with me, Dave Loreen, right? And we used to go the back way to do jobs at Terry Hills, and Oxford Falls Road was always under constant roadworks, right? And there's this Maori guy that's got the stop slow sign, right? And this guy, typical Tongan Samoan, he's 6'15", and he's got the stop slow, and he every time he pull up,
15'6".
Yeah, every time you pull up, he goes, "Oh, you fellas going there, boys? You guys." Good day today, boys. And my mate goes, "Mate, I know you don't work that hard, but you don't have to fucking advertise. Stop slow, you know." I can never go back that route again, you know.
I worked on the council down the South Coast for a few years, and it's literally cliche, man. Like, you do fuck all.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be in one town, like I live in one town, drive half an hour to the head office, and they go back to that town to change the door lock, because I'm a carpenter by trade, but change the door lock over. I'm like, well, fuck, you just told me that I could have slept in this morning. Fuck, and then by the time you go there, oh, yeah, I need this lock. You drive to the fucking local Bunnings, which is another 20 minutes the other direction.
Yeah, right.
And then you come back and you change the door lock and you go, oh, fuck, before I do this, I'm going to have a smoke.
Yeah.
And
It's 9:30 by this stage.
Yeah.
we did cover one of the toilet blocks that one of our podcasts was.
Oh, the glory hole.
You did a podcast in the toilet block. No. I wonder what Alan Jones or George Michaels would think about this. Or were they your guests? Oh, no. It's not something to be proud of.
He didn't know who was on the other side of the glory hole.
Knock once for real love.
I didn't say that right, but anyway.
No, you did say that.
As I said, we're only one lawsuit away from 1 million followers. But I don't think Alan Jones got much to fucking go on anymore. Yeah, grub.
It's what's
Not
this
a paid
one?
one.
Okay, so
one?
we're going back to, this is, I can't.
I missed that.
You know what I feel like?
give
What's
you
that, the guy that his missus is that actress on Saturday Night Live? Scarlett Johansson's husband. I feel like that dude on Saturday Night Live, where every year they've got to read out a joke that the other one writes for each other. Yeah. And it's these guys that are doing the news broadcast on SNL when one guy's black and Scarlett Johansson's husband is a good-looking rooster, and he has to read out these jokes that his colleague who's black, right, and they're all racist jokes, right? And that's exactly how I feel right now. That when you hand this to me, which I'm actually going to do a close-up, so you don't need to do any of the edit, right? This is what I'm having to deal with, right? I don't think I'm superior or inferior. I'd like to think I'm one of three blokes just doing their best, except there's only one of us that isn't doing their best.
So
for those that are listening to their audio book, it's probably a good time to. It's a good time to pull over, get to 36 minutes and 12 seconds, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
49 minutes now.
That's really difficult for me to say, man.
Yeah, it's one in the pink and one in the stink.
No, it's two in the pink and one in the stink. Oh, shit, I fucking did it! Now, you just got yourself a marlin, you bastard. You know? Oh, my stars. You know? Oh, fair dinkum. Oh, that was good. Yeah.
I didn't actually mean to fuck that
no,
up.
I don't think Anyway, as soon as it happened, I thought, fucking cunts read me like a golden book. You know, you're that predictable again, Spillo. You know.
It's like a game of snooker. The brown's blocking if the red's blocking the pink, go the brown.
Oh, fucking hell. This is only just starting, right?
It's blocked. The one thing I was nervous about, and I've got to tell you, I've actually been nervous for 6 days about coming on, because it's good to be able to sort of express myself and thanks for creating this space, because I feel really comfortable talking to you two guys. It was like when I first met you, man. You gave me a wonderful compliment and said, dude, I've never had anyone I've never met before come up and give me a hug like you did.
He did, man. I was like,
who's this guy?
who's this guy? And you go, I feel like I already know you because I've listened to your podcast. I'm like, hey, go, man. And then we were talking about 4 o'clock that morning.
Yeah, we were. And it was just, it was wonderful. And it was good.
I must say, you're a fucking legend, bro.
Thanks.
That's why you're basic.
Yeah, because I like the
Leave it a man. Leave it an Adam Dick away from your face.
That microphone's got him steaming at 100 degrees. I can see him. He gets down on his knees.
Keep popping. I'll use the teeth.
Didn't she teach you to use no teeth?
You just get her to take them out.
It's going down the rabbit hole.
I'm going to be in so much shit.
That's all right. No,
we don't edit much. Oh, no one's listening except the rest of the world.
Except for the dude in Kenya.
Oh, hang on.
Old rugger bull over there.
It looks like Azerbaijan's just lit up. I didn't know they were that keen on it. Anyway, so as you were saying, getting back to...
I was just reading some more stickers out.
I forgot what you were saying.
Keep your dick beaters off my tools.
Anyway, we probably should get some bit more...
Hold on, wait. And Jesus, I saw that.
Yeah, that's what
try and bring it back onto some
He wants to kind of,
point.
you wanted me to stick some of these on the back of the Jeep as I drive out of here.
No, we'll put the whole lot on there. But
I bought a Jeep.
No, but they're all...
Me too. Is it broken down? Yes, it's fine.
Sorry, man. Have you ever heard of a car commercial? Sorry,
no, you're right.
That goes in the car commercial. Jeep's now giving you a there and back guarantee. That's what a fucking car's meant to do. You don't need to guarantee it. Just fucking do it.
Just work it. Make it fucking
When I turn it on, it's supposed to turn on and fucking drive me home.
But, get yourself into a Jeep, there and back, and guarantee.
Not a pay, Dad.
Anyway, but
Anyway, so he thought fucking...
But give us a couple of new Jeeps. We'll try them out.
Anyway, not a paid ad. My was just getting some beers out of the esky because we figured out a new thing about the podcast, even though the ice... Everyone listen to that? That's the sound of ice.
Yeah.
Ice,
Not the glass barbecue type. No, I'm good, bruv. I'm good.
Hey, Wes, maybe you should slow down.
You should fucking slow down.
So you were going to, I think before you pulled out the stickers, Wes, you asked me a question about the show or something.
Yeah, so you've been doing that show for about 5 years or something?
Yeah, so we've probably done over 200 shows. 180, I think, this Tuesday will be recorded.
Yeah.
But it's a community radio, so first, primarily and foremost, it's for the community, and it's just grown exponentially. And I'm really proud of the fact that we ended up getting to the top of the table at the end of last year. But it's not something sort of, and I've had some wonderful guests. Like I had an amazing guest, and I'll send him a link to this, Matt Davies. So if anyone wants to tune into or listen to a good podcast, one episode in particular, pretty much sort of sums up the reason why I got into doing a radio program on mental health.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought I'd only do 10, maybe 20 episodes. I didn't think there was much more you could talk about. But I had a guy come on, Matty Davies. He's a foil board rider. And he came up with a film production company because they're doing a documentary. Matt's a couple of years younger than me and went to my school. And very open about the fact, particularly when people have a substance issue or an addiction, they'll often replace ice or methamphetamine with another drug because there's so much stigma around what, all communities think of ice and how destructive it is. But he was really open about it, and he comes straight in, and my mate Jamie, who's the producer, said to me, let's talk about Nazare, because he catches 70, 80-foot waves, this dude. He can hold his breath for 4 minutes, 50 seconds.
Right.
All right. So 18 months ago, he's He's on the edge of North Head at Manly.
Yeah.
It's about a 220. It's very similar to here to what's Govert's Leap.
Yeah.
And there's a guy that's down on the beach or around the corner who's flying his drone. He's 800 meters away. And he sees this dude sitting on the edge of the cliff and does what you should do, and he's called for help. Called Triple O, and then 21, excuse me if I'm wrong, Matty, 21, 22 coppers turn up. And for almost 4 hours, they were trying to talk him down from going. And if it's 4 hours, this guy's going to go. Like, that's how, sensitive and acute the matter is. And I think it was, and it's much kudos to the police officer, because he really managed to connect. And I think that just whilst I'm on that, I know we always like to sort of rubbish cops and give cops a hard time. But one thing I've noticed a lot, particularly in this area under the management of Gary Sims, who's the chief inspector, is the empathy of police with people that are having mental health situations or matters, and the ability to deconstruct, to relate, to not judge, and it's a pretty difficult thing to do.
Always a lot of respect for cops.
Yeah.
The amount of shit they've got to go through, man.
They suffer from
themselves.
so much PTSD, like police.
Well, they would, and every day is different. They don't know what they're walking into, but it's also pretty confronting. And having been there myself, when you've got a guy that you've got a paramedic who's over in the background who's there to help. Well, they can help, and they've done a lot more training. But it's pretty intimidating here in Australia when you've got the guy with the badge, the taser, the baton, and the gun.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that has to talk to you first before getting down. So, kudos to the cops for, over the last 5-6 years particularly, developing skills to, what's the word I'm looking for? To reason with
negotiation and stuff. With
you know what I mean? And the police officer sort of came and only ever came from love and said, dude, I've got a couple of kids. I've got to go home to this. And I think, as Matty Davies said, episode 167, Men's Mental Health Show, that was probably one of his light bulb moments, and that's something I talk about on a weekly basis. It's a light bulb moment. And anyway, they talked him down, and since then, what this dude's done is he's does a lot of breath work. He goes into the pool. They make it into a washing machine, so it's a similar effect of being hammered by a 60-foot wave. They're today they've got like a life vest where that it'll inflate with air and whatnot. However, you've got to sort of be really prepped. And this guy's on a board it's smaller than this table.
Yeah.
So, originally speaking, the larger the wave you catch as a surfer, the bigger the board you need, right? So if it's a 6 foot or anything below that, you can surf a 5'9", a 5'10" foot board. But anything sort of over 6 foot, you want to be on close to 7 foot length board, right? So it's a big difference. But to go onto a board that comes out of the water, that's on a foil, that sits probably a good 1.5 foot out of the water and going down the face of this is a Nazaré, and he was just there at December. Sadly, he didn't get the waves that he needed. And it's people think Portugal's a tropical sort of a place. It's not. It's a horribly cold.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I did this podcast, and whilst we're in the middle of it and he's got into this situation, you've got a film crew, you've got the documentary maker, you've got Matt and myself in this tiny room, and we're all in tears, man, like where this guy's at. And the way that he's able to articulate exactly what he's doing is probably the greatest skill I've seen of any one of the men I've interviewed. The way he executed, explaining his trauma was really, really impactful. It had so many so Jamie, my mate, who I knew from school, said, "Oh, Spillo, I think it's time we went to a break." And not that I don't like someone telling me what to do, but I said, "No, man, I think we need to sit in this." And we've got this fight. We're all in tears, man, and it was really uncomfortable, right? So it's quite confronting, and I think we need to sort of sit in this and get uncomfortable. Well, when that show went to air 6 or 7 days later, it didn't only eclipse what I'd done all the other shows that year, it eclipsed all of the shows I've done collectively, because it's an enormous fraternity, the surfing community, right? Yeah. So it had reached out. I've never had so much feedback. I've never had so much. And it was the fact that this guy sort of, didn't shy away from the fact he was taking ice. He embraced the fact that this is what ice does, right? But without me even saying to the guy, the whole purpose of the show is that we can sort of just help one guy from an experience where you've lived. Or lived experience. We're not physicians, we're not psychotherapists. We're like the three of us are doing now. We're guys that are having conversations that are about real matters. And the most common thing that, that it said to me, the first bloke to say it to me was a local Indigenous elder, David King, here from the Gundungurra mob. He said, Spillo, this is the fourth time I've been on your show, but every time I come in, it's almost like there's an invisible sign that says, leave your egos outside. And what are we, 6 minutes in? You've already got me crying. Now, that's not what I'm trying to set out to achieve. I'm trying to set out to achieve to blokes that, these things that we can develop as men, and whether we like it or not, the world has changed. I'm not saying we have to agree with it. I'm not saying we don't have to agree with it. But all I'm saying is if you, instead of looking at what society is asking of you or your partner or your parents or your friends or whatever, I'll look at what you can give to yourself. And for me, I'm not a big fan of myself. I have a lot of insecurities around that. I have to splash cold water on my face 5 times a day. I have to say I like who you're becoming. I don't think I'll ever get to I like who you are because I'm not a perfect man. I'm not somebody that has all his eggs in the right basket. In fact, it's often 2 step backwards for me, and I use myself as an example to help men grow and understand there's nothing wrong with being wrong.
Yeah, that's it. Like, we learn from our mistakes, right? And the thing is, like especially like I've run my own businesses for years, like entertainment, music businesses, and I've gone from this to fucking failure, and then I'm like, how the fuck do I get back up again?
And the questions you have against,
and I'm like fucking fighting myself all the fucking time, and then I'll go like, oh, okay, so I've got all these skills, so I go like after I failed, I went to university and I've got a master's degree now, and I'm like, what am I doing?
Serious?
What am I doing with that shit? Seriously, like, and then I'm punching myself, going, fuck, what? I should be fucking earning top dollar, and I'm not.
Yeah.
And but this is having this podcast at Wes's initiative, and Wes is learning a lot of shit, like, and Wes is teaching me shit, as well, and I
think it's fair to say teaching your listeners as well, man.
I'm swearing my head off, but because this is our podcast, we're allowed. I swear my head off all the time, but like, this has been like I really love the fact what Wes has put this together. That's why he's the host, because he has in the mental health thing. I was like, fuck, I was kind of lost, and now I'm using.
We all get lost in some stage of your life. You can't just say that everyone's just fucking going to go. Some people do. Most people don't. Right? You can't just keep cruising through life through the whole lot, mate. It's ups and downs, man.
Absolutely. So to be fair to say, I think, sorry, man.
Yeah, so
if I'm putting words in your mouth, it sounds like you're really enjoying the purpose.
Well, this is good because like I'm putting the skills that I've learnt at university and stuff into this podcast. And even though I sound like a drunken sailor sometimes. And fuck this, fuck that, fucking.
I wouldn't get on a boat with you, mate.
Like it's been great because I can put my skills to use, and I'm trying to. I've been trying to find that connection to the other side of like what I've done with university, but it's a bit of it. It's just that's
what I call what you've just explained. I call that a real asset, or I actually call them a life asset, and I don't refer to cars or properties as a life asset. So you're talking about what you'd learned at university, and you're allowed to apply that to the production of what you do outside of after this is recorded, the editing, all that stuff, right? And that's probably what you've done. But what you've effectively done is it's not only a purpose for you. What you've done, this is an outlet for you. So for a guy that's who struggles in life, like you're no different to all of us,
100%.
And we all have those things. Purpose is such an important thing for all men, kids and women for that matter, to have, right? Because what happens is a lot of the time, if we fall into a hole of depression, everyone thinks we just have an antidepressant or something, right? When in fact, having a purpose and doing some exercise, whether that's walking, is probably 70% of your recovery from your situations. And all the other stuff, the alcohol or the drugs or whatever else, are often a symptom to a greater problem, right? And I spoke at length to your brother about this, that, you know, it's so easy for us, and what we do today is we see somebody and go, oh, he's a pisshead, or he's a drug addict, or he's manic, or gosh, he's a bitch. You know, one thing that I've learned from doing the show, what I do is behind every single person's action is a reason. So when I see somebody...
Yeah, you don't realise exactly what their life story is, right?
That's right.
And their backstory is what I was doing, what I learned in film and stuff is like, because I create a character, like, because I've got a few movies, ideas that I'm going to be writing, and I want to get them out. But there's actually a backstory. So you got to, like, and this is when I was doing masters. They were teaching us a backstory. So, okay, well, we need to, like, this is the character. This guy goes blah blah blah. What's his backstory? And they kept going and pushing. So you had to create a character out of nothing and figure out his backstory. But then you think about everyone that exists to this day. Yeah. Everyone has a backstory.
We all came in the same way.
100%.
Straight out the chute.
But just because we come in the same way doesn't mean we know how to deal with things the same way.
Yeah.
Like grief and trauma. And
you said something to me when last time I was talking to you, Spillo, about a lot of the men's problem is they have failed relationships, and then what that creates is someone with fucking nothing creates an absolute spiral of fucking the most dangerous. You said
you take away a man's house, his home, his kids, his life, his more, all of that stuff. You've created the most dangerous man on earth. And I'm not saying that you know, we don't need to change as men. I think we do. I think we need to do better. I don't talk about women's mental health. I only talk about men's mental health. But most importantly, I only talk about from my experience of mental health. Yeah. And my life started to change when I understood the fact that it was me that was doing some of these things that were causing this raucous of you know, complete devastation through, be it relationships, be it just destruction. And the moment that I started to be accountable, not to anybody else, but to be accountable to myself, was when my life started to change exponentially. Okay, so I'll give you an example. You know, I'm part of many different forms of men's group. I'm part of a group called the Men's Table, and they're all of the similar ilk of my father. So my old man's 80 in May. I'm the youngest guy there, and the next youngest is 58. All the other guys in their late 60s and into their 70s, and they once a month they meet up. And shout out to David Poynton, the CEO. He's a good mate and is doing a wonderful job, but I don't often share, so they'll go around and sometimes
to me it sounds like the table of knowledge.
Yeah.
It is. That is
until the bloody Sheila comes down and sits down and fucks it up for all of us and makes us look so stupid. And then there's a little bit of knowledge at the table. But you're right, man. It's but what I learned from that was to speak from self too. So like where I gained skills from the men's table is that, you know, if someone's hurt me or and I'm a very sensitive guy, but I can give it as good as I can take. Don't worry. Yeah. But instead of, you know, like I write my dad some a wonderful. I spent 3 weeks with him at Christmas, and I fucked up a couple of times, man. Like I really upset him, and I wrote to him what I felt I did wrong, and this is why I feel I've let myself down. And I'm not saying it in a way that's trying to get my dad to go, oh, you poor thing. I'm doing that not for him. I'm doing that for me as a man or as a son to be able to grow further into what I did. So I immediately said, I shouldn't have, you know, cut you off when I did. I'm not saying what I said was right or what I said was wrong, but it shouldn't have been said in front of these two people. Yeah. And that's something that, you know, now that I noticed it and I've pinpointed it, I'll work on that.
Yeah. Accountability.
That's right, or a piece of humble pie. Yeah, and the amount of awards or reward you give yourself from that is it's amazing, man. And you know, the biggest issue for men is, and don't forget, we're losing 8 a day. So there's eight men that take their lives a day. What do you think the national road toll is a day?
I was only 200 and 300 or 400.
Well, that's in this state.
Yeah.
So it's around 3.1. Now, one thing I can tell you that is fact is 1/3. So 1/3 of road toll is suicide, but it's not counted as suicide. So I'm also talking about the people that drive head on to a truck or into a tree or whatever else, right? Yeah. So let's say that 2 people are dying on our roads every day. Can you imagine if the road toll and the money we spent? Can you imagine if it was 8? Do you reckon we'd be able to drive cars?
No.
We wouldn't. And then the other thing where I do have an exception with a few things, and that is that this violence against women, and we shouldn't be violent. I'm not for one moment justifying any man's actions, but we're counting a man that has offended 4 and 5 times as a unique offender. So in other words, we're not saying this is a reoffender when the statistics are coming in. But this is an interesting fact, because the real statistic is this: 48 men take their lives before one man takes the life of someone else, right? And now that's a frightening statistic for a number of reasons. Yeah. First, primarily and foremost, we don't talk about those 48 men. We only talk about what those other men that have done and killed their partner, which is wrong. And I'm not saying I'm not justifying any of this. So how do we change? How do we move forward? And how do we overcome this? We can look at statistics, we can give opinions, and we can do all of these other wonderful things. But for me, the best way of doing it is to do exactly like what we're doing now. Yeah. And I think when you've got organisations like Movember, Gotcha for Life, that are making Lifeline, that are making well over $1 billion a year, just those 3 companies collectively, they could surely pay for an advertisement that has 2 blokes sitting down at the park, you and I, and you saying to me, listen, man, it's all over between Kel and I. I've had enough. I can't pay the rent. I can't pay them. I'm done. Wes isn't talking to me anymore. I'm going to neck myself. And then I say to you, so you've obviously thought about how you're going to do it. Yeah. Have you written a note? Do you know when you might do it? And if you do it, have you thought about, what that might do, right? So never do I say things like, why would you want to kill yourself, right? Because when someone, particularly a man, right? The biggest killer of men isn't suicide so much, it's shame. So if a man's able to deal with his shame, which brings in an enormous amount of guilt, and that's what often men just sort of go, well, this is too bad. I've gone too far now. I can't put the rubber out and erase it, or the liquid paper. I need to get Wes out of pain. I need to get Spillo out of pain. I need to get all these people that I've impacted out of pain and make it better and easier for them and take my own life, right? And that's what happens.
I fucking struggle with mental health. Wes struggle, you struggle, we all do. And the best thing, and I'm saying it all, we'll keep fucking reiterating. I can't never say. I say the word. It's in my head.
It's like abbreviation. Just say
fucking, I'm tongue tied, so I'm fucked of trying to say words. But anyway, like Wes,
your tongue's not tied to your brain, Adam.
Oh no, my brain's fucked. My brain's good, but my tongue doesn't get the words out. But what I'm saying is like, like Wes has really, the best thing that he's ever done is put this podcast together because
that's some fucking awesome things.
Oh no! Besides that, besides all the other awesome things, I
think this is his way of saying thanks to you, man. So just look at him and say it, man. Like
I love it.
Like, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to sort of. No, but it's beautiful, man.
We've told some stories. We've we're hitting 20 episode. Like I keep saying, we're more than 21, but episode 21. But we have stories of our life and fucking. And getting awesome people like you, fucking Bradley Spillo on fucking Spillane on the fucking on the podcast, but I always call you Spillo.
Yeah.
But man, like that's I know I might drag on a bit, but it's fucking it's great.
I reckon there wouldn't be a listener that's listening back to this now look, I hate the word compare, right? Yeah. But here's that. And I'll say this, and I said this to you, and we'd only known each other, Wes, after the gig we did. Yeah. There's an enormous diversity between your state of mind and your brother's state of mind, right? You're an incredibly sensitive man, Adam. You are, right? And your brother's probably got what you might consider a better skill set of developing when things are getting dark. Yeah. Okay? And sitting as somebody outside of that, I couldn't disagree with that. However, I find that your story or the way that you're dealing with that is something that I am more interested in exposing or exploring as a mate or as an interviewer on a show, because I have those struggles too. And I want to know what it is that you're doing that gets you out of that situation. Or when you have those train of thoughts, how are you going about it, right? So remember I said at the beginning that life's about two things, about time and growth. Now, the only way you're going to grow is if you're curious around somebody, and this is where, like Dave King said, leave your egos at the fucking door.
Yeah.
There isn't a man that walks this earth that you cannot learn something from, or that is better than you at something else. So as soon as you're able to overcome that step in life and understand, wow, you know, this guy isn't an enemy. This guy isn't just because he drives a fast car or he drives a fucking 1984 Honda Bullet or whatever. He's got something that I want to take from, right? And that sounds pretty selfish, but that's how I've learned to grow as a man.
So what I'm saying, like that, in that experience yesterday, right? This is one of my experiences, and that's why I like to always help people. Yeah. That's what I do. It's my life. Over years, like someone's struggling, I'll you know, hitchhikers, anything I've done.
Yeah, pick them up.
So I went, as my light bulb blew in my car, right? And I'd put that in the fuck it bucket, but we're not doing fuck it bucket for this episode. But these shit light bulb things that you're going to put in the car, you can't touch them, right? You can't put your fingerprints on them and whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah, like LEDs type things.
No, in the headlight.
Yeah,
right?
Because it can blow the bulb. Yeah.
So don't touch the light bulb, put it in, and anyway, these fucking Chinese cars, they're like as a small car, and I'm fucking. The other side was
your hands don't fit.
Click, fucking put it in. And then I'm trying to get this fucking light bulb, and it's raining and stuff. And then this old fellow walks out, and he's like, he sees me, and I said, "Oh, fucking light bulbs!" I said to him.
Were you having a light bulb moment?
I was having one of those moments. I'm fucking going, bing, fucking my light bulb.
Why did I go to the fucking auto elect?
Oh no! Anyway, so because there was this little fuse box there, and you can't get. I got my hand. I managed to click it out because I turned. It's got this little waterproof thing you can unclick, and I went, oh fuck, boom! Yeah, finally got my hand in and clicked it out. Then I went, bought the light bulb. Fucking $26 for a light bulb for your car. Like they're like $3 back in the day. It's fucked.
Anyway, how'd you help
and then so I'm trying to get the fucking thing in and couldn't. I spent fucking half an hour and then 20 minutes like trying to get this thing in. I couldn't work it out. And anyway, the bloke see me, come and fucking help me. And he put it in. He put the light. We figured it out. I had to take the other one. He was struggling too. Because we couldn't get the hand, and then I said I took the other side off so we can match the wiring, and he got it in. And I was like,
so the moral of the story.
The moral of the story is he wasn't afraid to ask for help, right? Because a lot of guys think, no, I can fucking do this myself. Is that what you're getting at?
No, how many Katoombarans does it take to change a light bulb?
Hey, join Lawson Locals and you'll find out.
But that's what I mean. Like, he was an older fella, and he fucking helped me do it.
And that's a perfect example of like as blokes, we think, fuck mate, I'm quite capable.
I'm going to do it myself.
I'll do it myself and everything else. And it's a really great analogy of what you're saying because we can't. And look, I often say, whoever created us, I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. I don't have anything against religions. I think these wonderful things. In fact, I think all religions and all cultures only have one thing in common, and they put that at the very top of what their agenda is, and that's gratitude. So, I believe things happen for a reason. I believe that, and maybe that's just my way of processing some of the things that I've gone through or the things that I've put other people through. But for a bloke to be able to then reach out and say, hey, man, I need your help. I did the same thing, yes. My windscreen wiper flew off. I went down to Repco. I get this thing. It's got 4 parts. It's got 15 instructions, and it's
what
going.
happened to just sliding the windscreen wiper on?
No, it was the whole component, right, that hits the arm, right? And this thing's giving my ass a fucking headache, right? And I've been at it for 4. And then I go home, and now I've bought the ex-father-in-law into it, and he's trying to have a go at it. And then I just go down to the mechanics, and I know they're really busy, these guys down there at Lawson Automotive Care. Cascade Avenue.
Yeah.
and Derwin comes out and he goes, yeah, no worries, man. And he pulls it out and it would have been less than maybe 9 seconds. And he's done it. And look, as I said, I'm on 22 grand a year. I said, mate, he's $50. And he goes, don't be ridiculous. I said, no, mate, honestly, like you got to take this because if someone else was walking by, I probably would have punched them in the head. And Munster wasn't with me at that time, so he couldn't make his way to my foot, you know.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean, right? There's nothing wrong. So the moral of this story is there is nothing wrong with not knowing everything as a man. There's nothing wrong with not being able to do something completely as a man. There's nothing wrong with knowing. So, for example, whoever created us chose the female species to give birth, right?
Yeah.
Now, we all know a lot of – if you came back as a Sheila, right, or a woman or a lady, you'd probably think twice about sticking around after all the things that they go through compared to us, right?
Yeah.
So they've got a much higher pain tolerance. And I think that they have a higher pain tolerance both physically.
I said if it was up to men to give birth, we would have been extinct at one.
No, we
I
did
said
talk
no
about we talked about that. The seahorses, right? The male seahorses.
Oh, they come out, yeah. But see, that's the thing, right? And I think that women are much better at a crisis or mental recovery. Women will talk about what's going on with their friends, but they'll talk about that in that space. And whether they say nasty things or kind things or whatever else, the fact of the matter is that they're so comfortable to be able to talk about it, right? And we're doing that right now. And we're able to speak about it. And it's not fucking weak. And it's not wrong. Like I caught up with Tony Brown from Honey Gem Nursery yesterday. An amazing man. He's not everyone's cup of tea. In fact, a lot of people look at Tony immediately and go, this dude's maybe, I don't know what to think about him, right? But I see this guy and I go, I catch up with him yesterday and I have some of the most in-depth conversations about how I've been feeling since my breakdown with Claire, my previous partner, with the surgery that I've had. He's just come back from New Zealand. He's told me he had a good time. I'm not talking about what he give his kids for Christmas. I'm not talking about the fact that he's upgraded from his Pajero into something else. I'm talking about the fact of what he's feeling and going through in life. And he's telling me about the balance of some medications. He's saying to me, my sleep's starting to slowly get better. And I leave that conversation with this dude going, mate, I wish I had 20 other mates like this guy, right? Because and I probably only spoke 10% of the time, right? And I just listened to this guy. And then I get in the car and I use that time to go, fuck, maybe I need to start doing that. Or maybe I should try that because I ultimately think that I'm doing something or trying to achieve something in different ways, right? Yeah. But I'm not trying different ways. I'm just doing the same thing a different way. Okay, if this makes sense, let's stick with me. So I've got 2 kids. I've got a 21-year-old. Didn't talk to me for 6 years. Very, very difficult. Gorgeous, beautiful girl. My daughter Charlie, singer of a band. Yeah. And I was a fuckwit as a dad, man. Like I was a really poor dad. Like I'll admit the fact that and it's not to justify the fact that I was a poor dad, but I got married too young and I had kids too young. And the people that loved and that were closest to me and knew me all said that to me. Okay, but it's still, I didn't, and I went in there. And I'm not blaming my ex-wife you'll never hear me say a bad word about her at all. But I have to own that now, right? So then what I do is when I talk to my daughter, I don't talk to her in the sense, and she always says this when I go off track, and this is as a 21-year-old. This is why I think she's so incredibly emotionally intelligent, that she'll tell me something about the fact that she might have had some struggles with an eating disorder. And I go, darling, if it wasn't for your old man being such an angry man, fuckwit, throwing all of your mum's shit in the pool, probably none of this would happen. Do you know what she said to me? Hey, don't take this the wrong way, but not everything's about you.
Yeah.
But the power in that, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's a
Just
natural
smart
thing.
enough to know that, hold on, no, that's got nothing to do with what actually happened.
So, just sort of, I guess, moving away from, what we're talking about into something a little bit silly. I've played cricket for 39 years and I love my cricket. I play for Harbor Diggers in the Northern Beaches and only to a level of 2nd or 3rd grade at best. But, what's been really important to me is the camaraderie between a team and your mates, and they've been mates for years. And we started going to the SCG New Year's Day test. We started back in 1994 was our first year, and 6 of the guys from the 13 were in the Navy. And only young guys. I was one of the younger sort of guys in the team at the time. So being 19, most of them were sort of 21 to 24. And the Navy guys used to love to sort of have a blue, right? Most guys from the Navy, they'll have a fight and then they'll buy you a beer. And a shout out to Cheesy and Nards and Wall. Anyway, this particular day, I think it's our third year of returning in wearing our ugly shirts. So we're talking 20 years before the Richies came out in suits. And Tony Gregg sometimes came down and interviewed us and anyway, cut a long story short, I think there's 9 or maybe 10 of us and these 8 guys sitting behind us who are, mate, they're just Neanderthals really. They were really out of place and they using a lot of abuse and these kids and children around and, the behaviour wasn't acceptable. And this is going back to 1994, 95, 96. No, not 96. It might have been 97 because I was over in the UK. So it was 95. And anyway, so when the Mexican wave would go around, right? And like Craig Field, these guys were pissing in cups and throwing it in the air, right?
Fucking hell.
So you start off your day at the SCG at the Captain Cook at 8 a.m. The game kicks off at 10:45 and you have half a dozen beers at 8 a.m. at the Captain Cook Hotel next to the SCG and you make your way in. And look, I can't really drink as much as most blokes, so I'm well and truly on my way. And the one thing I'm really good at was sledging. Right? And like if I could honestly say if I found a purpose in life, it would be to know a good sledge. Anyway, so I'd these guys have been saying things and at 11:30, so we're 45 minutes for a session, 2 of them are being booted. And then at 12:30, just before the lunch break, another one's been booted. So now 3 of their 11 guys, they're now down to 8 and these 8 or 9 of us. And they're saying horrible things to us like, wait till this is over. We'll fight you outside and, what blokes do. And there's 47,000 people in the ground, right? So we think we're pretty safe. Anyway, so as it goes on, by 4 o'clock, there's 3 of them left. And they're like, yeah, we'll wait. And every time one of them's getting booted, they're like, we'll wait for you at the front. So sure enough, we come out the back through the back of the Victor Trumper stand, into Moore Park near the Fox Studio side. And 11 is now 16. These guys have got mates that have come from all over and there's 46,500 people dispersing and there's a few of my guys, and I've never thrown a punch in my life. I can't, I'm just a shithouse fighter. So they've had a couple of blues and 3 of these blokes that had already been kicked out have immediately thrown in the back of the paddy wagon. And there's not really a lot that I could contribute, but I felt, pretty weak as a bloke for not helping out my teammates. And I apologise to Gov and Flashy and the rest of the boys. So I took it upon myself to climb on the back of the paddy wagon, stand on the back wheel, hold the roof of the paddy wagon, get old mate out and started pissing through the vent of the paddy wagon. I'll remind the listeners, there's 46,500 people. So there's a few people that could see me, right?
Yeah.
And the next thing, I get this, and because I'm on a tyre, so, I'm 6 foot, so now I'm 9 foot tall, and I get this thing that hits me in the back of the head, right? Like it's not a hard tap, but it makes my head then hit the top of the roof of the paddy wagon. And as I turn around, I see it's a fucking horse. And it's a female police officer on a fucking horse, right? So I got all these things going on in my head, like, 1, am I going to get thrown in the back of the paddy wagon with these blokes who I've just probably sprayed? 2, am I going to lose my job in real estate? I had all these horrible, horrible emotions running through me and thoughts and ideas. And I had thongs. It was 34 degrees. So I hightailed it, right? And now I've got no mates. And just for the listeners, there wasn't mobile phones back in 1995. They came out in 96 or 98. Yeah. And so I'm hightailing it through the park, and there's a lot of fig trees at Moore Park. And now I've lost my thongs, and then I've tripped over.
Had a thong blowout.
Yeah, and I've broken my big toe. And
shit.
any orthopedic surgeon will tell you, if you break your big toe, you break your metacarpal as well, the bone that's in front of it from your ankle, right?
Yeah.
So I've tripped over and I'm in so much pain. And then, and this lady, she's still on this horse catching me, right? Like I'm like the man from fucking Snowy River. I said, I don't have a fucking horse. Anyway, so I dive under this van like a Toyota Tarago and I'm lying there and there's the chick on the horse she's going past. And the next thing, the door opens to the Tarago and these 6 kids. And I get out, roll out in case I get run over. And 45 minutes, an hour goes by, and I knew that we would be going back to the Paddo Inn, which is in Paddington Street. And I figured hopefully they're going to be there. But by the time I arrived there, an hour or so later, this is walking back, it's only a 20-minute walk to the Paddo Inn from the SCG, but I've been hiding and I was shitting myself. I went into this pub, and as soon as I walked into the pub, it was honest to God, it was like I scored the winning goal at the World Cup. Okay, I didn't know anybody in this pub, but they fucking knew all about me. Right? And they're like, they're just crazy, you mad cunt. You know?
That was the good old days, mate. Good old days.
You know, it was, yeah. You know, so it's not. God, I hope my mum, my dad especially doesn't listen back to this, but you know, like
80-year-old man's not our target audience,
mate. My old man's a bloody legend. He does all right for himself. He's still very charismatic. He loves women. He likes them about my age. actually, 50's too old. But no, he's doing really well, and I love the old man to death. You know, like when I did what I did to myself, it sort of broke down our relationship, but we both worked really hard on rebuilding it, and he's bought me a ticket. We're going to Thailand on the 16th of March. He's got a home he goes to. And so
2 days before my birthday, man.
Oh, is it? Oh, unlucky.
I'm 21 again.
Oh, what about that?
I'm coming to Thailand.
I'll be in Nashville then, mate.
So you're going over to Nashville? What, with the bride or who?
No, me.
The mail order bride.
I tell you, easy, Tony Greg. Did you ever see that test match? Sorry, come back to that. So the test match at Adelaide Oval, it was that same day Brian Lara scored 200 runs. And Tony Gregg and Bill Laurie are commentating.
Richie Benno?
Yeah, he was commentating, but by this stage it was Bill and Tony, right? And Adelaide's known as the city of churches. I'll make all apologies from what I'm about to say, but I didn't make this situation up, and I'm certainly not Rachel or racial. Anyway, so they zoom in at one of these churches, and there's this gorgeous bride. She's a Chinese. Oh, no, sorry, there's the groom, and he's an Australian guy. And they zoom in, and Tony Gregg goes, well, looks like he's prepared to take the deep end, Joe. We'll start to go into serious relationships, and we know what it's like, marriage.
Sounds like Maxi Benno. Was it Benno? Was that?
It's Tony Gregg, right?
It's
park your car in the garage, you know? And he loves the number 5. And I tell you what else he has is ice cream with his sticky date pudding.
Yeah,
you know?
ice cream.
Got to have ice cream if you're South African. Anyway, so they zoom in, and out of the car comes a lady who's Chinese. This is truth, right? And it's a Chinese lady comes out of the car, or Asian lady. She's walking up the steps, and Tony Gregg goes, oh, geez, Bill, I wonder if they've flown her in for the occasion. That was in 2001, man.
Oh, man, that was like
Adam,
we weren't even so that we weren't woke then.
No,
but talking cricket commentators to Adam, it's like might as well talk Swahili,
right?
Because he's got no idea.
I do remember the 12th Man comedy show.
Yeah, but they were a comedy show. He's talking about the actual.
Yeah. So you know where I'm at, right? Yeah.
I'm not, man. I'm not a crook. I've never been a cricket man. I was like, I had crickets in my head.
Yeah.
He normally gets crickets when he tells a joke.
No, after a gig, I got crickets in my ears after gigs. Oh, fuck.
We're talking about dyslexia earlier on, you know.
Oh, dyslexia.
Or like
Dyslexia.
Like sex-
Try and spell it.
yeah, like
Dyslexia.
you were going to Sexpo.
Yeah.
Like Sexpo for a dyslexic person is expose. Right? And these two dyslexic bank robbers walk into a bank, right? They've all got their gear on, they've got the guns, and they've got their fucking balaclavas. And they walk into the bank, they go, "Put your fans in the hair, mother stickers. This is a fuck up."
It's like a pence failing. Put your pence failing. Let's put some pence failings on you.
Mother stickers. This is a
Mother
fucking-
stickers.
Put
this
your
is a
fans
fuck
in the
up.
hair, mother stickers. This is a fuck up.
Oh, we're gonna grab that and put it at the start.
Yeah,
of the episode.
maybe that's a good heading for the show.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is going to be a fuck up. But look, I apologise for sort of, I know it's a light-hearted show, and I appreciate the fact you guys invited me on and talked about some of that real stuff. But the most important thing behind it and whatnot is comedy, man, or his laughter and his.
Yeah.
It's so
The old
I know-
school saying,
yeah,
"Laughter's the
no.
best medicine, man."
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, that's it. It's
or
like-
music, like
Yeah.
you talk about music. You had a term that you use for music. My term for music for me is
Universal language.
the universal language. Well, for me, music's the gateway to my soul, and I often found it a lot easier to connect, particularly through when I was in darkness through music, and that would obviously sometimes take me further into it, but it brings me out.
Yeah.
And I love watching YouTube, but I only watch live music, live concerts. So the guy I live with, Muz, who's a paramedic, he put on a party one night and this bloke Jason turned up and he tells me he's a drummer and he can play guitar and whatever. So I made my way through Christians. I'm living with the bloke now, but anyway, I found a guitar, helped myself to it, went out to the courtyard and we played some songs and that's how you and I came about to meet each other.
That's so
Raw
cool,
SOS.
right?
And I'd seen you play bass for another mate, a mutual friend of ours.
Jimbo.
Jimbo. And
We've had
and
Jimbo on the podcast a few times. He's
Oh, have you?
he's a wild man.
He's
We love
cut.
Jimbo.
We love
He's
him,
cut.
love him, He done like the pickled egg challenge.
Oh,
mate.
did he?
Yeah. And he ate heaps. He had like 2 or something.
Nah, he went.
You had the windows open.
Yeah,
Oh,
He's very authentic, Jimbo.
yeah,
He's
he's a gun
fucking
man.
legend.
Yeah, he is. He's got a wonderful heart. Like
Yeah.
he's got to, and for somebody that's had life that he's had, and we don't need to go into that. He's got some very strong morals, which I had a lot of respect for Jimbo. And he's anyway, it was
Yeah,
a
played
mate
in a
of mine.
band, playing a few bands with him and stuff.
We had him on episode 7, and he was it was literally episode 2 or 3. We rang him. And he said, "Oh, I've been working in the city in Newtown, and every fucking bloke in Newtown is now a brewer, and they've got all these shit beers." So then we had the Olympics were on. We said, "Oh, well,
Tastes like a pot of flowers.
Yeah. Jimbo goes, "Well, we're going to have the shit beer Olympics." So go back to episode 7. You'll hear Jimbo in the shit beer Olympics.
Oh,
and it was
yeah.
fucking because we've just tasted all these beers, like
It's funny.
peanut butter flavored beers.
Fuck,
It was a bit of fun.
of
It
that.
was hilarious. It's one of my funnest.
Episodes. He's certainly a character, and he can play. He's a good guitarist.
Yeah,
man.
he can rip on the guitar.
Yeah, he actually really shocked me.
They
but-
vanquished, man. They killing it,
So
man. But
so man, I want to say this to you also because I've been in 5 bands. I think this is band number 6, and most of those, except for the band before this, which had to break down through COVID. I had my bass player was John Kirk, who recorded Shabu Shabar in excess and played
sick.
horn, at times we had Michael Papalo on the drums, a Fleetwood Mac drum, and really good musos, right? And we had a really lovely guy. He's Japanese. He doesn't look completely Japanese, but his name's Pete Rundell. So g'day, Pete, if you're listening back. And Pete would play keyboards. He was amazing. But Pete would talk like this. Right? I do always love doing impersonation. Brad, this is really cool, man. Like the music that we are playing, we can start to play to other people. And I'm thinking like, well, this guy's just established a fucking revolution, That's never been done before.
It reminds me of that movie, like, is it Yesterday? Like the the Indian fellow.
that plays it. Yeah,
he goes. He wakes up and no one knows the Beatles, and so he had to try and remember.
Yeah.
Seriously, like how fucked up would that be if you didn't remember any of those songs?
I know, and they were like, he was like, "This guy's a fucking legend, right?" Yeah. So Pete came up and he said, we'd only had two, and with these guys, like not like any other band I've been in, they gave me 26 songs, and I had to learn the 26 songs, and we would never go over a whole song. So we had if the gig was on a Saturday, we'd have a jam on the Thursday, and it would just be the parts of whatever songs you needed to know, and that jam wouldn't go for more than 2 hours. So they're all top-notch musicians. Anyway, so Pete Rundell, the God bless him, says, "I've found a really good name for the band, Brad." He goes, "I think we should call ourselves Doobs and Dust." I said, "Why's that, Pete?" He goes, "Because half of us like to smoke doobs and the other half like to sniff dust." Like he was saying, right?
What if you did
What
both
a
of them?
name for a band, right? What a name! Doobs and Dust.
So that's what it was.
That was what we called ourselves, Doobs and Dust. And it was funny, man.
No, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Did you do many big gigs with that band, or?
I think I only did 3 gigs with them. They're John's, who the bass player, his son, because they're all in Northern Beaches, and their sons come out and plays or does the singing, and they're more gone sort of the disco.
New order.
All new, but there's not so much electronica in it.
Yeah.
Just whatever. And that's not really my genre. I like a bit of rock and roll. It's like punk. I'm not a massive punk fan, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think of any of the bands I've been in have I ever had as much fun as being in this band.
Oh man, we're
Jim's
fucking
Punk
having
Rock.
a ball, eh?
Yeah, and what do we have? 6, 7 sessions, and we get up there, and I still haven't been able to watch it because I'm a really harsh critic on myself. But we get up there, man, and every single person comes up and says,
Man, I was on the dance floor with this dude. It was 75. And he goes, "Fucking about time! Someone's playing some Sex Pistols."
About time we're playing some real fucking music, you know.
He's like 75. He's like, your dad's vintage, you know?
Yeah.
He's fucking loving it.
Meanwhile, we're talking about bodies and abortion. In 2024.
Yeah, that's fucking Sex Pistols, man.
Yeah, that was fucking. It's gold.
God,
It's
if the Queen was still alive, we'd be knighted.
That's fucking gold.
But
I love the fact of like bringing punk rock back into the face of the fucking diversity that's happening in the world right now.
yeah, it's kind of like a kick in the teeth almost, but in a joking way.
Yeah. Well, man, you think about it, like it's been sort of hidden, it's gone, and now it's back. We're bringing the raw, and then all of a sudden, all these fucking punk bands are coming back in. The fucking, it's been fucking good to play these songs and. And I've said it on a few podcasts. They're actually, although they go, they're 3 chord wonders, like in the muso terminology. There's actually a lot, like especially Sex Pistols. There's a lot of fucking on the bass. It's sort of walking bass. There's a lot of blues. It's just sped up blues and stuff. There's a lot of and the vocals, and the vocals and stuff.
Look,
and that,
all the bands I've been in, right? Most songs have got at least 1 to 2 2 solos by the guitar. Okay, so even just a 12-bar, right? It's verse, chorus, solo, verse, chorus, solo for 2 bars, verse, chorus, and then a third solo, right? And I think we've got to sort of pay a little bit of respect to our guitarist, who was a drummer, Jason Poulos, who really is the guiding.
He's the kingpin
of what he's doing, right? And it's the first time he's ever played guitar in a band, and he's
really
doing a good job.
I'll tell you what, like you as a front man was fucking unreal, but Corin on the drums, man, like he's just sitting there and he's got his fuzzy hair. And he's just fucking. I said to him, man, he stole for me because I'm a drummer, like I'm biased, but I said, you stole the show, bro, because he's just like, 1, 2. He's like, if you're talking shit, he's like, fuck this, 1, 2, 3, fuck. And he's just going. It's like looks like aggro. Remember aggro?
Of Sesame Street.
Up a little bit.
But the other wonderful thing about Corin is like he just turned 28 the other day, which is which is pretty amazing because he got past the 27 club.
Yeah, thank fuck for
I
that,
don't give a damn who you are. For any musician to make it past the 27 club's pretty good.
Yeah,
Like, I've had this reoccurring dream, right? I'm seeing a therapist for the first time in 6 years on Tuesday, and every time that, like, at some stage or another, most, if not all therapists, how far?
Sorry, we've done that to you.
No, that's all right.
The Raw SOS therapy sessions.
Right, but sometimes they always, it doesn't matter,
Send the invoice
psychiatrist.
to Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to write a
It
few
doesn't
things
matter
off
if it's a
this.
psychiatrist, psychologist, psychotherapist. They always like to bring up dreams, but I've always had this reoccurring dream that I'll die at 54. And maybe that's because that's what 27 and 27 is. Well, that's what I learned at Mana Maria anyway. But I don't know why, man. It's just a really strange thing. But
Well, I had this when I was at JMC Academy, right?
I have a really I have a reoccurring dream I'm going to fuck Margot Robbie, but
Oh, yeah.
that's never going to happen. So
I
think you're safe, all right?
yeah, yeah. Well,
set your standard, mate. Who am I to get in the way of your dreams?
oh, no. I think every
Yeah, but
bloke...
as soon as I said Margot Robbie, my wife's calling.
She is too. She is too.
She's synced to your brain. Whereas have you got one of those neuro links in your head? You know,
She put one in. The tracking device of my thoughts.
But yeah, no, I had when I was at JMC Music Academy, I was doing music business there like years ago, probably 2011 and stuff. And this chick that's now a bloke, she was like she's cool as fuck, or he's cool as fuck. But anyway, she said, she was doing the palm reading and said I was going to die at 44.
Oh, wow.
I'm fucking past that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see.
So I think fuck for that.
Did she
So
say she was gonna-
basically, so what you're basically telling me is that a woman can be wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
Even a bloke that was a woman can be wrong.
And this is not toxic masculinity. I've just yet to meet one.
Well, she's a bloke. Yeah. Oh,
No, okay, but
probably
you did.
But anyway,
There was a clause in there. I forgot about it.
So even though she is a him and him is a shim and whatever, but fuck.
But no, look, there's nothing wrong with her. That's the way, I'm not knocking that
No,
person
man.
about. All right,
It gets back to what I said earlier on, man. Like,
just
this
don't
whole,
be a furry. That's
know,
weird.
This whole thing, I honestly, there's no one that's made more mistakes or flaws than I have as a man or failed. So who am I to judge anyone? Just
Oh, man,
I
I've
don't
done
care. I don't
plenty of
care
fails.
if you look like a Sheila. I'll refer to you as a Sheila. If you look,
Yeah.
all I've got is love for people.
It was
man.
quite
I just
funny.
want to love.
Quite funny. At that gig, I was like, righto, so I'm helping carry the drum kit in. And then my next task was to paint your fucking fingernails. I'm like, right, this is a first for me.
So you did. That's right.
And then my fingernails were
And I'm
painted.
like, fucking hell. If I was down in Penrith and I'm painting a dude's fingernails, they're going to be like, who are these fucking fags?
Yeah.
And you're just
And
like,
there's a photo of which I'll bring up on the Odie Cologne here. There's a photo of Adam and I, right? And I haven't really gone out on dates, or I don't like to call them dates, but anyway, I'm seeing this beautiful lady. I just caught up a couple of times. Yeah, it's just, to catch up and have a chat. But she's seen this photo of you and I, right? And she's obviously I'm wearing mascara because just for the listeners to know, this is the truth of the matter. Okay, so leading up in the 6-band jam sessions we had was we're going to go all out. We're all going to wear makeup. We're going to wear punk. We're going to do this as a proper show. So I've turned up, and I've never used makeup in my life. But I think I've done a pretty cracking job of putting mascara on and eyeliner. And anyone wants to see it, they can go to what's it? How do they find it on
Raw
YouTube?
SOS Podcast. The Raw SOS on YouTube.
So it's RAWSOS on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
The Raw SOS.
The Raw SOS.
SOS,
Okay.
yeah.
Anyway, so you'll see the whole gig. Anyway, so this chick that I've had a couple of coffees with, I sent her this photograph here, right? And I'll
Yeah, that's the
show,
one, yeah.
I'll show it to them. And this is me and the guy to my right. This is Adam. He's my beautiful bass player. He had
I had dreadlocks once.
So,
yeah, we cut him off about 2 weeks after that.
so you get a pretty good idea, right? And then she says, I send her this picture and she says, oh my God, like you look so sexy. And as you can see, I'm holding a cigarette, right? But she zoomed right in and she goes, and you painted your nails. Now, for anyone to go and see that picture, like, how do you tell that someone's wearing nail polish from that? Unless you're a fucking stalker.
No, hold on.
Right?
Hold on. Give me that phone for a second. So what she's done is she's trying to see what you're packing.
Oh, you're trying to see the package.
He
Mate.
paints his nails as well.
She zoomed in on the crotch. Mate, she's only human.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not what it used to be.
That's called basket shopping.
No, that's a fucking slam dunk if I've ever heard it. Very, very clever, man.
Say what's in the basket, all right?
Yeah,
that's pretty good. All right.
I've never heard that. Where'd you pull that one from?
Just brilliant.
I've been around for a long time, man. Like,
Anyway, I reckon we wrap it up now. There's about 2 hours there, Spillo. And
Hey, listen, guys, and Wes, thank you, man. I mean this, brother. You know, I've really enjoyed it. It's nice to sort of sit on the other side of a microphone and
Yeah,
to you,
yeah,
lads.
had a bit of fucking-
I love
a
you
bit of a
guys,
laugh
and
at that.
you know, if I can just say this, you know, there's a lot of shit that we deal with and goes on in life, and you know, the biggest improvement that I've found is let's not try to be quick to judge. Show a little bit of love. Love's one of those things in life. You might like it at
100%.
times, but it's a very difficult thing to hate. So
Yes.
just show a bit of love, baby.
complete
You know?
opposite, mate.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like the fucking world.
I want to end the podcast with that. There's an actual asteroid.
Heading for Earth?
2032. It's coming down. It's going to hit the Earth. So, what do we need to do now to fix all that shit up?
Mate, I'm dead at 54, so I'm dead at 20. Don't fucking look to me for answers at 2029. I think your best hope is Donald Trump. He'll probably throw a fucking nuclear bomb at it.
Elon Musk will drive a fucking Tesla into it, mate. Don't worry about that.
That's the
Thanks for
latest
bringing it back
news.
down the shit, Adam.
No, but what I'm saying is
Yeah.
fill the world with love until then. That's
Well, see,
The
that's
negative
we don't
part
have
of
any idea how long we've got, right?
Yeah.
You don't know when your time's up. And,
Yeah.
you know, from the moment you enter this life, you're dying. You really
Yeah.
are. And
Yeah.
you can choose to believe that you are dying, or you can choose to grow and
just do
develop.
the,
you know?
the Buddhist thing and live every day.
Every day is a
every
day of
moment.
survival.
It is, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and you know, I say to guys, anyone out there that wants to reach out, I'm not a physician. I come from lived experience. Look me up, Bradley Spillane. Send me a message through Messenger. If you're going through tough times, I don't mind. I take calls through the night. You know, it's just one of those things.
You're
In
a
fact,
fucking legend,
I get
man.
more out of it than the guys that call me do, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I
Nah,
get more out of it.
fucking. Oh, we love you, bro.
Love you, man.
Thanks,
You're
boys.
a fucking thanks, bro. Thanks.
Great show. Thanks.
Two brothers on the piss, having a blast, drinking, chatting, talking shit. It's a podcast. Pour a drink, pull up a chair, lots of laughs and stories to share.
Thanks, brother. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Okay.
Cheers, boys.